And they blame hackers working for Russian spy agencies. Joining us now is a member of the Select Intelligence and Armed Services Committees, independent senator from Maine, Angus King. He has endorsed Hillary Clinton. Senator, always a pleasure. I will talk to you about the debate. This came up. Donald Trump, very dismissive of the idea that it would be Russia. I'm not sure what his motivation is to insulate Russia from criticism here. He said could be China, could be somebody else. What do we know about these DNC hacks and this recent hacking activity vis-a-vis the campaign?
Well, I don't think the FBI has said definitively it was Russia, but I thought that was a very odd moment in the debate because there's a lot of evidence that it was Russia. It's likely that it was Russia, and this is their way of operating. I was in Ukraine and Poland and Berlin last spring with the Intelligence Committee, and one of the things, a theme that we picked up was the Russians mess around with elections, and this is a common theme in Europe. They're trying to sow distrust of the election process, putting out disinformation. This is a conscious Russian strategic, they even have a Russian word for it, of disinformation. I can't say it in Russian, but this is what they do, and now they're doing it here. It's highly likely, according to all the sources that I've seen, that Russia is behind this, and it's unclear now whether they're trying to, number one, just undermine confidence in the election process, or to go a step further and influence the outcome. We really don't know. But now, as you mentioned, 18 states have asked for help. The good news is our election system is very decentralized, and it's going to be hard, other than those registration rolls. That could be the problem.
Hillary Clinton said, when they were discussing this, Trump said what he did about we don't know that it's Russia. Clinton suggested that we have all these other tools that could be used to fight back, and we don't want to invite a new wave of warfare. But you also don't seem to be able to stop any of this hacking. I mean, what's the reality?
Well, that's been a really hot discussion around here for the last year or so. The point now is that we're on the defensive. We're trying to stop hackers, trying to put patches in, put in security and all those kinds of things. But at the same time, the question is, should there be consequences for people that hack us? For example, the Sony hack by the North Koreans, or if we determine for sure that it's the Russians messing around with our elections, shouldn't there be some response? My belief is that there should be. It doesn't necessarily have to be cyber. It might be something else. But the idea that you're going into a fight and all you're going to do is duck and dodge and never punch back, I think invites aggression on the other side. We need I call it deterrence 2.0. We need some deterrence to other countries. If you mess around in our systems, in our power systems, electric systems, natural gas, there are going to be consequences. There are going to be results. And I think Secretary Clinton was right about that. It's got to be calibrated. We can't start World War III in cyber over some minor intrusion. But right now we are under cyber attack. There is no question. And my concern is that the next Pearl Harbor could be cyber, the entire financial system, for example. We're very vulnerable, Chris.
Let me play you some sound from the director of the FBI about the evolving terror threat, what he called an expectation that the diaspora will spread of terrorist states. Let me play it for you.
Yeah.
The so-called caliphate will be crushed. The challenge will be, through the fingers of that crush are going to come hundreds of very, very dangerous people. They will not all die on the battlefield in Syria and Iraq. There will be a terrorist diaspora sometime in the next 2 to 5 years like we've never seen before. We must prepare ourselves and our allies, especially in Western Europe, to confront that threat, because when ISIL is reduced to an insurgency and those killers flow out, they will try to come to Western Europe and try to come here to kill innocent people.
But there is this expectation, there is this talk in the campaign, mostly on Trump's side, but a little bit echoed by Clinton as well. We will beat them, crush them, stamp them out, pick your language. It is a false premise, Senator, and you know this. You know it's not a ground war, that it will spread like any other infection until the underlying reasons of desperation, disenfranchisement, the idea and the war within Islam for its own soul are addressed.
I agree, and you use words like crush. I do think Director Comey is right that the the sort of organized caliphate is definitely on their heels. Now, you know, things can change, but they've lost a lot of territory in the last year. The invasion of Mosul is in preparation. It looks like that's likely, but you can't. It's very hard to kill an idea. And really, that's ultimately where this is going to have to be decided. But the other piece is, though, he is right. If and when the caliphate, this artificial state, shrinks down, and by the way, that's very important because a fundamental part of the ISIS 8th century ideology is holding land, is having a physical place. And to the extent that is destroyed, that takes away a lot of their appeal. But you're right, they're going to, and Comey says, you know, they're going to slip out between the fingers. I liken it to squeezing Jell-O. It's going to come back out, and we've got to really be thinking about how we're going to protect ourselves and be sure that we have very thorough vetting processes about who's coming in here, who's coming into Western Europe. But fundamentally, yes, we've got to deal with this issue in the realm of ideas, and that, ironically, is where we're losing. I mean, we're the country that invented Facebook and Hollywood, and these guys are killing us on social media and radicalizing people in our own country. We've got to do a much better job. Here, Chris, in 1998, I think it was 98 or 99, we wiped out USIA, the part of the State Department dealing with information. Everybody said, well, the Cold War's over, we don't need it anymore. We need it, and we need that capability, and we don't have it, and that's got to be one of our, I think, highest priorities of the new president.
Senator, appreciate you talking about what matters with us here on New Day. You're always welcome. Thanks for being with us.